First big Democratic contest since Donald Trump won re-election, and since the Democratic Party has really been floundering and will probably shape the future of the party. The primary has featured so many moments, from endorsements to cross-endorsements, and as you just heard, even arrests.
Yes, and joining us from across the studio to look at all the campaign highlights and where things stand now is political reporter Marcia Kramer. With some guests, I think we know both of them, too.
We know both of these guests, both of you. We have O'Brien Murray and J.C. Polanco. But we do want to talk about some of the moments in the campaign. Let's start with the fact we were just talking about, which is the arrest of Brad Linder at an immigration court. Did that have an effect on this race, do you think?
It took the press for the day, but beyond that, it was a campaign stunt.
It was a campaign stunt, no doubt. But let me tell you, Brad Lander went from who knows Brad Lander to being on national television last night. The whole world now knows who Brad Lander is. He's been on every national TV show ever. And considering that he cross-endorsed Assemblyman Mamdani, it bode well for the Assemblyman, him having to get arrested. I'll tell you this, next idea, maybe just get arrested. You may get some points.
So let's talk about the endorsements. So Mamdani got endorsed by AOC and Bernie Sanders. Did that help or hurt?
It definitely helped, no question about it. I think the mistake Mamdani made on that was not rolling it out as one of her. It tied him to her earlier on. Luckily, she endorsed him the day after the debate when he hadn't done that.
At first, I thought it meant nothing because they're all socialists, and who are socialists going to support but fellow socialists? But something happens with AOC. She's gold with young voters. So when she said, I like this guy, a lot of young voters came out of nowhere and gave him the momentum he needed in the last couple of weeks.
Michael Bloomberg, he endorsed Andrew Cuomo.
He validated Cuomo, AOC validated Mamdani. I think at the end of the day, really what it comes down to is who's going to energize their base. And it's very tough for Cuomo in the sense that moderates don't come out and vote the same as the progressives do.
Mike Bloomberg has a lot of political capital in New York, especially up the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side, Park Slope, parts that he needs in order to win this primary tonight. And I think that former Mayor Bloomberg's endorsement meant a lot, not only politically, but financially as well.
With him comes a checkbook, no question about it.
So let's ask this question. Another event that happened was the decision by Eric Adams not to run in the Democratic primary and instead to run on an independent line. How did that affect the primary, the Democratic primary, and how does that affect the election?
Brilliant for Eric. He stays relevant as the mayor today, and relevant as the mayor in November for when he's running on the ballot again at this point. The next mayor will get 35% or less possibly for what we've got to do to win this race. But beyond that, what it also did was it took away the opportunity for Cuomo to team up with somebody else as an alternative, or for voters when Adams would have fallen off to go to Cuomo.
Smart for Mayor Adams to say, hey, listen, I don't need you. I'll see you in November. He doesn't have to lose this election tonight. He gets to see another day. And plus, he has a power of incumbency. And your viewers have to remember, you don't need the majority of the vote in November. All you need is a plurality. So Mayor Adams has a good shot in November. He's viewing, if I only need 20% plus one, I could do that.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to throw it back to Jessica and Dick.
All right, guys, and we will keep in touch with you for the latest on what's going on. You'll be back. All right, let's head back over to Marcia Kramer and the guys, and she's discussing what political ads mean here. I bet they mean something. Yeah. Just something.
I think what we have to talk about is the fact that in this cycle, there was a record number of money spent on ads, $36 million. It's the third most ads that were spent in the entire year in the political world all across the country. So first of all, I'd like to talk to you about my personal favorite ad, which was the Brad Lander Cyclone ad. Let's hear a listen.
New York City feels like this a lot lately. It's been a wild ride, but it won't change if we just swap Eric Adams for corrupt Andrew Cuomo. Brad Lander has served through the ups and downs, fighting corruption, ending...
So how did you feel about that ad? You had Brad Lander allegedly riding the cyclone. I think it's probably AI, but that would just be me. But I can't imagine he was eating a hot dog while he was on the cyclone, but that's just me. Do you think that was an effective ad?
When I saw it, I wondered how the volunteers stood behind him when he was eating all the pens and everything like that. What would happen there? That was my thought, volunteers on that thing. It connected to people. I think the challenge is any of these ads are about what? Name ID or an issue. And I think this one was good for name ID and getting the earned media.
JC?
But I think this was a great ad.
But it was a distraction.
No, I think it was a great ad because he's saying, hey, listen, even with all the drama, I could still do the work. So that was a great ad. I'm with you, Marcia. But another good ad was Assemblyman Mamdani when he walks in through the restaurant. Did you hear this guy was going to freeze the rent? And it became almost as if synonymous. When you see Mamdani, you think freeze the rent.
Let's talk about what I think may be one of the toughest ads, and that was an ad run by Fix the City, which is the PAC supporting Andrew Cuomo. Let's take a listen to some of it.
A vote for Mamdani is a vote to defund the police. That's why the New York Times calls Mamdani uniquely unsuited. He shows little concern about the disorder.
That was effective and helped Andrew Cuomo, or it was being able to be used by Mamdani to say it was Islamophobia?
Mamdani using stuff and defending it as saying something like that just shows it's working. If you don't respond, if you respond to an ad, it means it's working, it's penetrating. The other question would be, how much money do they put behind it and to who? One of the problems, I think, if you look back at the Cuomo race, they did not go after their opponent early enough, and they went maybe too little too late, and this ad could have been out a week earlier.
I didn't see anything offensive in that. I thought that was an attack ad. It was a contrast piece, and it was really well done. I got to see some of the things that he has said. They actually label the times he said defund the police, and it was also very interesting to see the empty elevator. You know, he's had a staff that you could fit in a New York City elevator. So it's a very good attack ad to define your opponent. I saw nothing wrong with that.
But do you think that it was effective in making Andrew Cuomo's case that actually he has more experience?
Of course. It made the case because, hey, listen, this man has a staff that you could fit in an elevator, and look at some of the things he said about defunding the police.
And those are things you've been talking about. The question becomes, that message works, but was there enough money behind it? That's always the question in any of these ads. Do they do them digitally? Who do they go after? And when you buy cable TV nowadays, you need to go on there for 2 weeks for it to penetrate the audience. If you're on broadcast, you can do it in a week or less. But you must spend a lot of money in a short amount of time.
Let's talk about a third ad. This was run by Scott Stringer. It was very controversial. People talked about it. Let's listen to this one.
As mayor, I'll turn my experience into action. Build new apartments at below market rent to make our city more affordable for families, not billionaires. And keep this schmuck out of our business. Tough is putting New York.
And that's why that was controversial. Do you think it was effective, and did it help Stringer?
Looking at the numbers tonight, at the end of the night, we'll tell you for sure. But I'm going to bet you it didn't move a single voter. One of the things it showed, too, everyone in there had more color physically on them and more charisma in the ad than him. I mean, he's flat.
I think it fell flat, but he wanted to show that he's a fighter and he's willing to use that word to define former President Trump, which, quite frankly, a lot of Democrats wanted to see someone who could go on the attack.
But his campaign went nowhere.
I understand.
It was quicksand. The more he spent, the more he did, the further down he went.
It's unfortunate to consider how experienced that man was.
It's unfortunate. The guy's yesterday's news.
No,
the only thing he has going for him is Jerry Nadler. That's all he has.
I don't know
Jerry Nadler's right-hand guy.
Why are you so mean, Obi?
I'm factual. I'm factual.
Scott Stringer's a good guy. Be nice.
Nice guy, lousy politician.
Oh, come on. On that note, be nice, be nasty. We're sending it back to Jessica and Dick.
I could watch this all night.
Yeah, I hope nobody's feelings are too hurt over there. You guys going to be okay?
I've got a little thin skin sometimes.
All right, OB's got to recover. Okay, thanks, guys.